Good morning, friends. It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. Hope you're doing well. We are out of the farm this morning. I won't be working on irrigation because I had to order parts and they won't be here for a couple days. But speaking of irrigation, I just checked. The lines have just run recently and I can see water spots. So it's good. I was worried yesterday. There were places that looked super dry and the sunflower seeds holes felt really dry when I was trying to plant them. So what I am going to do, though, to maximize the water that's coming out of the drip for that section of direct sown sunflowers, is I'm going to go over it again with the watering can just once, and then we put straw down. They'll come up through the straw, but that straw will help hold in more moisture in the soil, and that'll be really beneficial. Then I did get gypsum, and I realized yesterday that I actually had put gypsum on that last bed in this section. So I have buckets of compost here that I can carry down, and there's more compost behind me. We'll get that bed topped off with, I don't know, just about 1 inch of compost. It's nothing major. And then we'll move down and get the gypsum in the dahlia bed and put the compost in that bed. And maybe, if I have time, more compost in the sweet pea bed. But I have a lot of other stuff to get done today, and we have sweet potato slips to plant at home, in addition to a couple of other planting projects. So lots to do, and I'm going to get started. Well, ticking boxes, one project at a time. So this feels good. Got the compost down in that final bed, put gypsum in both the dahlia and the sweet pea bed, and put compost down. So what they desperately, now this one still has irrigation, but this one desperately needs irrigation, but it's broken, so I can't hook it up yet. Nothing's in here, but I don't want this soil to get really hydrophobic, because then it'll be really hard to get it enough moisture in it when I go to plant. So as soon as those parts arrive, I'm going to come out here and get this irrigation all fixed and working again. Still need to run irrigation to this bed over here. And again, I don't want it to become hydrophobic, which happens very quickly. One potential nice thing, it looks like we might get some rain on Friday. Probably not a lot of rain, but any little bit helps. You know, even just a light coating, like that will sit and slowly soak into these soils, will be very beneficial. Not only to keep them from getting too hydrophobic, but also to help that gypsum break down and start loosening the soil and adding more calcium. I was going to work on this one other project. This is not really garden related at all, but it is health and safety related. So you see all of these rebar stakes sticking up. That is extremely dangerous. Generally, even low T-posts, I will put, if it's really low, I will put a tennis ball on top of those as well. You just don't want to get impaled. And coming up this little ramp here with a wheelbarrow is very challenging. If you fall to the side, I can't even explain to you what a nightmare that would be. So not only would you be impaled, but it's also rusty. My tetanus shot is up to date. So I usually put tennis balls on top. First, they're very bright, you see them, but also if you fall on them, it still hurts like heck, but it won't puncture your body. So the only thing I had was my little box cutter knife right now, and that just doesn't make a big enough hole, so I will bring out a better tool tomorrow to do the rest of these, but I definitely want to get those all set. I meant to do that last year and didn't, and because we weren't really out here over the winter, it was fine, but now it's important. With uneven ground, you know, these are things that you don't always think about when you are working in any job, but you know, even in your garden, there can be some danger that you're not aware of, and it's really important to take those steps to protect yourself. It's risk management, and it doesn't mean that you are a doom and gloom person. It just means that you're thinking ahead and making sure. So for instance, in my garden at home, the very first year, I didn't use cardboard in the pathways. I used paper bags. We had lots and lots of saved up grocery paper bags, and I laid those down, and they were great for weed deterrent, but when it rained, they got very slick, and that garden is actually completely on a slope, not a steep one, but enough. And when you are walking down a hill, when there's a slight slope and it's really slick, you slip and fall, you can get injured. Thankfully, I slipped a few times, did not actually fall, but that was what got me to say, you know, I need a better pathway that has traction. Wood chips are excellent for that. All right, I'm going to put all the stuff back in the shed. I need to go do some grocery shopping. Then we'll see about getting the sweet potato slips in the ground after lunch. Okay, so we're back home in the garden, and I have a jar of sweet potato slips that's been soaking for about a week. They have roots on them, which up until recently I thought was the way you should plant them. And after watching a really great video with Farmer Jesse about sweet potatoes, I'll link it below. You really should check it out. It's very informative. It's better to plant them without the roots. That helps you avoid certain fungal diseases, but I'm just going to go with it because they have the roots. So I'm putting these in a couple different places in the garden. Now, the last couple years I have not had good luck with sweet potatoes. Our clay is hard for them to get through, and sweet potatoes like to grow down as opposed to out like regular potatoes do. Last year I grew them in the grow bags, and they just did not produce well. I got plenty of roots, but they weren't potatoes really. So this year, I'm going to plant them in 2 separate spaces, and part of this is for hopeful preservation of a crop. First place we're going to put them is intermixed in this bed. Now you can interplant sweet potatoes. They're actually wonderful for interplanting, but it depends on what you interplant them with. Corn is a great option. Root vegetables like turnips, carrots, radishes, those are all great options too. Even beans, especially dried beans. The only thing you really want to consider when you're interplanting is how much trampling of the vines are you going to have to do to get to the other crop. So the reason corn works, if you do dent or popcorn, is that it can just stay on the cob. It's not a green harvest. So, you plant that corn and it stays there until you're ready to take out the sweet potatoes as well, till right before frost, because it's dried corn, right? The corn is drying on the cob. So that works great. Normally, I would not want to put sweet potatoes in with my pumpkins and squashes, but this is a raised bed. I can reach everything, even once it gets super dense, without having to step into this bed at all. So I won't have to trample on any vines in order to get in here. Now, I'm still not going to plant them super close together because both of these, well, squashes in particular, are heavy feeders. Sweet potatoes are too, but sweet potatoes do not want a lot of nutrition. They like kind of poor soil. So you got to think about that when you're putting things together. But I'm going to you need to put them about 10 inches apart generally as like the good spacing for sweet potato slips. So I'm going to put 2 back here, and then I'll put 1 probably right here, and I'll put 1 over there in that corner. Basically, I'm just going to kind of scatter them a little bit in here. These cabbages, I don't know that they'll ever head up, but right now they look nice, and I'm going to leave them there. If we get a lot of heat, they'll head up, and they won't head up, they will just bolt. In which case, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of sweet potato slips in here as well, because when these guys come out, the potatoes can have more space. Look, we've already got some fruit on this one. This is a Lakota squash, and got one over here as well. So this is the first place where I'm going to put some. I think I have like 20 slips. It's a lot. So the second place is here in this bed next to all these beans. So these guys I'll be able to reach on the other side. And yes, the sweet potato vines will get all over the pathway. That's what happened last year with all of these guys, but it's okay, it works. This is all Nigella flowers. I'm going to leave those. The sweet potato vines will grow just fine around them. And so I will plant along this irrigation all the way down. If I still have some slips after that, I'll find some other places to put them, maybe in this bed, which is also beans. And in fact, this back half is all dried beans. So that might be a good place too. However, these are kind of close together, and I don't really want to crowd the sweet potatoes too much. But beans are nice too because they are fixing nitrogen in the soil, and that helps feed the sweet potatoes. So that's a really good combination there. So I'm just going to get to it. After this, I need to do something with one of the chickens because I think she might be egg bound. look like much, but hopefully they will take and we'll have lots of sweet potatoes this year. Now, I need to do something for one of my hens. She's acting weird. Her tail's down, and she's kind of hunched a little bit. Her comb is still up, but generally that's a sign that they're in pain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this pan with warm water. It'll be pretty warm. I'm going to use the hose that's been laying out in the sun, and I'm going to grab her, which she's going to hate, and I'm going to put her butt in the pan. Now, the reason I'm doing that is her vent is real, like full of poop and stuff. It looks awful. So it's possible that she's got an infection there, which I hope not. It's possible that she could be egg bound. I also hope not. But if we get that area clean and the hot water will help kind of clean it all up, melt it away, then she might fare better. But with chickens, they can go downhill very fast. They could be just fine. You could see them in the morning and be like, something's up. And then by the evening, they're dead. So I would like to not wait on this. And this is not aggressive. Like, generally, when I put my hens in a sit bath like this with hot water, they actually really enjoy it. They tend to relax quite a bit. She's not at the point where I need to isolate her, which I had to do that with Francine 2 years ago when she got egg bound, because she was definitely sick. Her comb was flat. It was pale. She was all hunched over. She wouldn't really walk. She was clearly in pain. Buffy doesn't seem to be that way right now, but I don't want to get there. So let me get this pail filled. I'm considering doing it in the run, just in case she flies out of my hands and then she goes running and I have to chase her all through the garden. I think it'd be better to keep her, in one spot. So let me get set up, and hopefully I'll be able to set the camera up without Flo knocking it down, because you know how she likes to do that. And you guys can watch and we'll just see what happens. Fingers crossed. I'll soak her for a little bit, let her go, and then check on her again later. And if she still looks bad, I'll soak her again. I don't want to have her be wet though before the sun goes down. She needs to be able to have dry feathers so she can stay warm. All right, let me get set up.
Hey, Penny, what you doing? What you doing, Penny?
So this is warm. I wish it was warmer, but hopefully this will be enough. All right, now the hard part. What's going on, little ladies? We gotta get your friend Buffy out here. I don't want to chase her around. I want to let her come out from under the coop by herself, because she's already going to be stressed with me picking her up. She doesn't like to be held. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, good girl. Good girl. All right. I know. I clean your booty here. Gotcha, good girl. Gotcha, good girl. Oh, that's gross. I know, sweetheart. I know, sweetie. I know, that doesn't feel good. We gotta get it off of you, though. Big clumps of poop under here. Yes, I'm doing it with my bare hands. I know that seems gross. But the water softens it and helps it to come out easier. But it's all stuck between her feathers. Sure, this hurts. It's kind of like when chicks get pasty butt, which is when their vents get all full of poop and won't come out. It dries on there. And chickens have a vent, not multiple orifices. I know, baby. I know. You're being so good. So if their vent gets clogged, then they can't defecate. And if they're hens, they can't lay an egg, and then they'll die. It's actually quite dangerous. There's so many chunks down here. Oh, this is disgusting. I will wash my hands very well, don't worry. But I am helping her. Oh, it's like wood chips too, all impacted in here. This is why you can't stand up very well. Chickens don't really dig swimming in the water, but when it's hot, hot, hot in the summertime, I will put ice in their water and pans. I'm gonna let her go for now. I'll also fill these pans with ice water for them, and they will stand in that ice water when it's over 100 degrees because they'll be panting. They don't have sweat glands. They can't sweat. So the only way they can release heat is through their feet. So it's really important in extreme temperatures to keep them cool. And it's funny, I just put ice water out, and they'll all stand in that pan of ice water. And then of course, drinking the ice water helps them too, because they don't want to drink hot water. So if it's hot outside and their water is really hot, they won't drink it and then they dehydrate. Okay, so she's preening, which is what I expect and hope. And hopefully she can get the rest of that off. I know, baby, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's good. But I think maybe it was hard for her to lift her tail because it was so stuck. Everything was so stuck back there. Still needs more cleaning, but I don't want to mess with her more. I want to give her a chance to let that dry. We can maybe do that again tomorrow. But I am going to dump this water because otherwise chickens don't care. They will drink it. Okay, I pretty desperately need to go wash my hands with a lot of soap. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for hanging out with me today, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.